right, today we're going to cover something that is probably one of our most frequently asked questions. So what is our most frequently asked question?
Are we a couple?
No. Well, yes, but what's another one?
Where do the dogs poop?
No, how much does it cost to go cruising is what I'm looking for.
Bingo.
Bingo. So
okay.
A lot of people want to go cruising, they just don't know how much it costs. So today I'm going to cover all that stuff for you.
This is going to be a long episode then.
Oh, well. It will go in more depth on our podcast. So actually check out our podcast and we kind of answer things a little more in depth. This will be a short, quick, and dirty one, and hopefully it'll help you out.
Dirty one? Voting's dirty.
It is dirty. Marinas, they can easily be your biggest expense. Most marinas are between $1 and $4 a foot. So really, you know, a 50-foot boat like ours, here it's $2 a foot. That's $100 a night plus tax plus all other crap. It ends up being about $110 a night. We try not to stay in marinas very often, but sometimes we have to, like right now, because we have guests coming and going. So we have to base out of a marina. Once we get over the French Polynesia, we're almost there. We're about to leave. Once we head over to French Polynesia, I mean, we'll probably never stay in a marina. Maybe, I mean, a few days a month. You really want to stay in a marina 4 or 5 days a month because you got to do laundry, you know, refill your water tanks if you don't have a water maker, and take a real shower. You know, it's just nice to relax. You know, because even on the hook, you're never totally relaxed. You're always, you know, the wind will pick up. You're like, who's my anchor set? You know, you wake up in the middle of the night. Did we move? You know, did somebody run into us? Marinas, it's a good peace of mind occasionally, but only do it about 4 or 5 days a month because they can be really expensive. Anchoring, it's free. Well, mostly free. Sometimes they charge a little bit. Some state parks, national parks will charge you to anchor there. And a lot of times there's places you can't actually anchor. You have to moor there. And it's generally $25 to $35 for a mooring overnight in most places. You get over into Asia and all that, it's like $2 or $3, if that. Let's talk provisioning. Best thing to do, buy it before you leave. If there's something you really want, some kind of chili, some kind of stuff that is unique, that you probably can't get anywhere else in the world, buy it. Buy a bunch of it. Buy more than you think before you leave. We spent a lot of money at Costco. We probably spent $1,500, $2,000 at Costco at various places before we left. But the thing is that $1,500, $2,000, that's enough dried and canned and like pastas and sauces and stuff that don't necessarily need to be refrigerated that'll last 3 months maybe more. And so we really stocked up on that stuff before we left. So the best thing to do is just stock up before you leave. The problem is where you store all that stuff. Let me show you where we do ours. Storage everywhere, behind every cushion, under every cushion. This is stacked to the gills just with canned goods, sauces, everything under here. Meats, especially good meats, hard to find, and if you can, very expensive. Stock up on that before you leave. What we're real excited about is we just got this nice new DC powered freezer. Gonna load this bad boy up with steaks and chicken and all that stuff. Fishing, that's free. Even though we're in Mexico and there are lots of really big supermarkets, heck, there's a Costco like a mile that way. I'm gonna take this one to show you guys around. This is kind of what more like a typical island grocery store, size-wise and the things they have. They don't have the same kind of things they have in the States, but we'll take a look. So in my experience, this is actually a quite large grocery store for the Caribbean and stuff like that. A lot of these little islands will just be like it's like the back room of somebody's house, like a 1-bedroom, like 10 by 12 little grocery store. But you can see it's not a whole lot of stuff here, but there is some stuff. The real big difference between an American grocery store and overseas is the produce. In the States, I mean, this whole grocery store would be the same size as produce. Here, they just have one little rack, you know? That's it. This is all the produce they have. And they don't have all that steroided out stuff. Like, this is the size a lime is supposed to be. The limes you get in the States are like baseball size. So this is their canned good aisle. I mean, that's it. One aisle of canned goods. One thing that's actually hard to find is bread. This place seems to have a pretty good selection, but a lot of times bread's hard to find. We often make our own on the boat. One thing that is really cool is eggs that you don't have to refrigerate. Basically what happened back in the day is there was an E. coli scare and the FDA mandated that all eggs be washed. But when you do that, you take the protective layer off the eggshell, and so you have to refrigerate them to keep them good. These, you put 2 or 3 of these on your boat and just turn them upside down every week. Last for a couple months. So this is the haul from the grocery store. It's about 1,000 pesos, which is a little bit over $50, but really, to be honest, about 35–40% of that was cheese. I mean, this cheese right here, these 2 blocks and this, was about 450 pesos. So it's not a bad deal for everything else, I would say. So 650 pesos for all that, that's $30, $35, not bad. But that same haul in the Bahamas or something would easily have been double, maybe more. Customs and immigration. A lot of people forget this one, but it costs money every time you check into a country, sometimes every port. This is the port captain here in Mexico. Generally speaking, every place you go has a cruising permit. Like the Bahamas, you generally get a cruising permit. It's good for 6 months and it costs $300. If you leave the country just for a little bit with your boat and then come back, you got to pay a new cruising permit every time. Most places, I think 300 is a pretty good average, really. In my experience, it's generally a little less than that. I think the British Virgin Islands was like $200 with all the extra fees. Sometimes they do it by length of the boat, sometimes they do it by the number of passengers and all that. And one crucial tip when you're checking in, if you have people on your boat, never call them passengers, always call them crew. If you call them a passenger, they'll want to charge you charter operation fees and stuff like that, so keep that in mind. A lot of places even charge you if you go port to port inside a country. Mexico doesn't do that, but like in the Dominican Republic, you want to leave one anchorage, go to another, you got to pay the port captain. Actually, it's not really a payment. They call it a propina, a tip. We'll call it what it is. It's a bribe, just to process your paperwork. And don't forget your maintenance either. That can add up for sure. I mean, this little guy here, just a toilet pump, that was 200 bucks and they got to put it in. So if you know how to do stuff on a boat, you're mechanical, you're electrical inclined, that helps out too. You don't have to pay for these things. But I would budget $200 to $500 a month for this. Hey, beer assistant. Thank you. I don't want to use. Oh, it's fuzzy. That's good. Of course, the easiest way to save money is to not drink alcohol. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Seriously though, like drinking and eating and all that out off the boat can easily, or on the boat for that matter, can be easily one of your biggest expenses. Shore excursions, really, again, that's up to you. You can be as expensive or as cheap as you want it to be, but really that's up to you. But there's plenty of things you can do for free, like hiking or snorkeling. So to sum it up, really it's up to you. You can spend as much or as little as you want. The numbers here are basically the bare minimum that I personally would want to cruise. You can cruise for less, and people often do for a lot less. But personally, for my level of comfort, this is what I would want to use. Of course, you can spend a lot more too.